Hello everyone, hope you are doing well. So in this video we will integrate implement Google sign-in using Firebase. So you can find the starter code for this video from the video description below, and in the starter code we have a sample app which have three screens, splash screen and the sign-in screen. And when user hit on sign-in screen, then after authenticating user with the Google, we will jump to the home screen, and the home screen will be look like this, which shows the name and email of the user. So in the starter code we have our UI package in which we have home, sign-in and splash screens code. So let's integrate the Firebase to implement Google sign-in. So for that, first we need to add our app to the Firebase. So I will go to the build file at project level and copy this package ID, application ID from here, and go to our Firebase console. And here different projects are showing up here, and as I have already have multiple projects here, you can create a new project if you haven't yet, and after that the process will be same. So I will select this project. So to add the app, we will go to project setting, and here we will click on add app, select Android, and here we will paste our package ID or application ID, and name it. I will name it as SignIn app for YouTube, and here need to put the hash SHA1 key, hash key. So for that we need to go to terminal and run this command. You can get this command from the video description below as well. So you just need to modify this section here, which will be according to your current OS configuration, and just run it. And here is the SHA1 key, which I will copy from here and paste it in here, and register the app. Okay, and the next thing is we need to add this Google services.json file in our project in the app directory. So this has been downloaded here. Now I will change the view to project view and expand the app, and copy this JSON file in here. Okay, and the next thing is add the Firebase SDK. First line will be goes to the project level Gradle file, and in the second step we will add this line in our app level Gradle file in here, and I'll add this dependency in our dependencies section. And okay, hit next. and continue to console. Now our app have been added in our project. So the next thing is we need to enable the Google sign-in method. For that we will go to authentication, sign-in method, and this is already enabled here, and if it's not showing here, then you can enable this by using this button, add new provider, and select that particular one, which is Google, which is already added. And the next step is we need to get the OAuth 2.0 web client ID from Google console. So the next thing, we need to go to the Google Cloud Console, and open our project, actually dashboard, and from here select the API and services. Where it is, API and services. And select credentials from here, and in here in OAuth 2.0 client IDs, at the bottom of this list we will see the web client. So we need to copy this client ID from here and paste it in our project. So in our project you need to go to the local.properties and paste a key here, Google web client ID, and paste the client ID, web client ID here. And okay, so this is it. So let's sync the project. And the next thing is that we need to implement the steps as mentioned in this documentation. So first step is we need to add our project in the Firebase. So it's already done. Add our app in the Firebase project. And okay, and the next is we need to add these dependencies in our Gradle file. So okay, and the next step is authenticate with Firebase. So we need to use this code. So I will copy this code from here and go to our, actually I sync the project as well. Go to our Android view, and here sign-in screen, and here the first code goes here. So I will make this like this, remember updated state. And here our web client ID will come, which will be using will config. dot Google. Actually I need to build my project to reflect these changes. The key was actually Google Web Client. Yes, Google Web Client. And the next step is we need to add this logic. We need to get the activity result. So in compose we will use launcher activity result. And paste our this part of code in here. And API exception. I don't know where this credential is coming from. We will deal with that later. So let's move forward and see. We have the Firebase auth object in here. So make sure when you are importing the Firebase, then it should be coming from the .ktx package. And the next is in the on start we need to get the current user, and let's go to this GitHub repository and pick the code as we are needed. So here we have Firebase auth, Google sign-in client ID. I will make it as nullable because we are setting it somewhere else. So initially I will make it nullable and set the null value to it. And the next is we need to initialize the Google sign-in option and create the Google sign-in client from it, so and get the auth. So I will perform all of these things at the launched effect function. So I will make this nullable as well, and here I will import these files. Here we need the web client ID, which is in build config Google. Okay, what's the name I have used in here? Local dot properties Google web client ID, and in my Gradle file Google web client ID. I will replace the keys here, and remove the first line here, which is not needed, and sync the project and build it again. Build it again. Now we have Google web client ID in our build config file. As you can see here, this is the value which is coming from our local.properties file. I am using this value in this way because I don't want to reveal this in the open source GitHub repo. And here we need the activity, so I will use mcontext f activity. Yeah, that's it. And the next thing is on start. We use current user and update user. We are not doing this at this place. And the next is on activity result. We are getting the result like this: tasks, results, and call this method. So first copy this section, actually copy these lines one by one. We have our activity result in here, so task result dot data, and the next is account and the okay, and I will remove these lines from here, cut this from here. Credential, actually account dot token, and here I will call this method and pass the ID token to that, and yeah, that's it. So the next is Firebase auth with Google method. So Firebase auth with Google method. Now I will copy this method from here and paste before this launcher activity, because I want to call this in this launcher activity results. So vol remember updated state, and we cannot pass these values in that. So I will remove this one, and this need activity, so context as activity, and update the UI. Okay, and the next thing is we need ID token in this body. So for that I will create this variable at the top of the file. I will name it as account, make it nullable, remember, and return it null. And assign this value in the result. Account ID token, and without this I just only call this and now I can access that ID token in this body like this, account ID token, okay, and cut the code from here and move it to this body part. And yeah, that's it. And the next is we need to navigate user to the next screen if this is successfully authenticated. And for that, navigate next. Otherwise we will show a message to the user. Unable to Google okay, so this is it. And the next is the sign-in request. It's not needed now, so I will remove this. And I will use by here. And call this here as well with parentheses. Okay, and okay, and the next is sign-in request, perform sign-in operation. So I will copy this section from here and paste it in here, name it as perform sign-in, and which will be wow remember updated state. and start activity for result. Call this method here. Actually no, it's actually I need to use launcher dot launch and pass the intent in that sign in intent, and call this when user hit on the sign in with Google button. So here I will call this method from here, comment this navigate next line, because we are navigating to the next line when user is successfully authenticated with Google. So that's it. So let's run the app. So click on sign in with Google and we have an error. What's the error? Specific non-null method. Okay. So this should be non-null in the launcher. Yeah, it should be non-null in the launcher. So for that I will use sign in intent. Actually here I will check if why it's giving the actually I will do it like this, and also check that we should be able to get the sign in intent in here. So log d sign in intent and run it. So we are getting sign in intent null from this Google sign in client, from the Google sign in client. So let's see why we are getting null. We should be able to get the data from it. Let's see, is this value is null or not. Okay, so this is null as well. This is not what we are expecting here. Okay, so I have tried to know that what is the initialization order of these remember methods. So this is the in the same flow as we are expecting that this will be called first, second, third and fourth. So there would be no reason that Google sign-in client should be null, but still we are getting null. So let's try a different approach in here. So I will initialize these things in this remember, and also initialize this in this one. Now run the app again. Now we are getting the Google sign-in intent, and now click on this account. Okay, so we have got the ID token, and we are navigated to the home screen or dashboard screen. So let's show the information on this screen. So for that we will go to the home screen and initialize the current user, Firebase with the .ktx package, auth, current user, and show the name and email in here. And okay, this is it. And the next thing is we want to if user is already logged in, then from the splash screen we want the user to go to the home screen, not the sign screen. So for that we will go to the splash screen, and here write this code as well. Current user auth current user if current user not null, if user is not null, then we will navigate the user to the home screen, and if user is null, then it means user is not logged in, and we will navigate the user to the sign-in screen. So let's run it and see the effect in here. So this is the splash screen, and now we are navigated to the home screen, and when we click on logout, then user will log out from the I forget to implement the logout button implementation on the home screen. So on home screen we will on button click we comment this line, and Firebase auth sign out and log out user to the previous screen, because in the current state user is still logged in, because we haven't called this method yet. So if I close the app and open the app again, then from the splash screen user will be navigated to the home screen because the session is still exist. So if I run the app again, and now if I click on the logout, then user is on the sign-in screen. Now it's the user has been signed out and session is not exist here anymore. So if I close the app and open it again, and then the user will be navigated to the sign-in screen. So this is it. So this is how we can implement the Google sign-in feature with using Firebase. So the next thing that we need to do is we have on our sign-in screen we have around 192 number of lines of codes, and we have put all of our business logic implementation of Firebase sign all in the view, which is not good. We need to extract that logic from this file to the view model. So for that we have the SignIn view model, and we will move this logic step by step to the view model. So for that I will copy this first initial things from here and paste in here. Here we have Google sign-in, so I will create a method here, init data, and initialize these data members in this method. So first I will cut this from here, make it nullable, extract this code here, and the next is Firebase host, make it late in it, and here, and assign this Google sign-in to this Google sign-in client. And we need the context in here, actually equals sign, and we need the context here. So for that I will use cdx, pass the context parameter to this method, and cdx, and the next is m account, which is nullable as well. So I will call this init data from the launched effect from here, ViewModel dot init data m context, and the next is Firebase auth with Google, which not taking any parameter at this stage. So let's cut this from here and paste in here, make it a function fn Firebase auth. It need context, so I will use the cdx context, pass the context to this method, and use here like this, and the next is navigate next. We will deal with it later. So let's move to the next part, which is the launcher activity result. So we will need to handle this result when it's when this comes from the Google. So I will copy this code from here and make a new method, handle launcher activity result, and it will take a parameter which would be a result activity result. Activity result, and here, and the next is we need to perform sign-in method in here. Here we will use ViewModel dot Google sign-in, and comment this line. Okay, pretty much it. So here we have tag error, so I will create a variable log t, and the next is what is the next error? Firebase auth, which needs a context. It needs context, so we will pass the context in here as well. This is not a best approach or a better approach to pass the context to the to your view model, because if you are trying to pass the context to your view model, you will need to use a context. So here we have tag error, so I will create a variable log t, and the next is what is the next error? Firebase auth, which needs a context. It needs context, so we will pass the context in here as well. This is not a best approach or better approach to pass the context to the to your view model, because if you are trying to if you are going to write test cases for your view model, then it's not a good approach to pass the context to the view model. But at this point we are not going to write the test cases for our view model, so we are just passing the context to our view model. So cdx, and okay, that's it. Firebase auth. Okay, and the next thing is we need to navigate next when this is successful. So for that we will pass this event from view model to the UI, to the compose component. For that we will create a single classes in which we will define our events, UI events, which are coming from the view, which are going from the view model to the UI. So the first one is the data class navigate next. UI event and use the private val event shared mutable shared from pass this UI event in it. UI event, and then next is make a public variable with event and which will be shared flow, so we cannot emit any event from the outside of the view model. So event as shared flow, and from here we will emit the event from in here, which is the navigate next routes home, and the emit is a suspend function, so we can only call this function from a suspend function or only. So for that we will use view model scope launch and pass in here. And the next is we need to listen that events from the UI side on the view side, which is our compose component. So here actually in here sign in screen, in here I will use ViewModel event collect latest navigate next event.route. So this is pretty much it. This is, so we have moved all our business logic from the compose component to the view model. So let's run the app again and see that is everything is working perfectly. So click on sign in, and we are click on sign in, and we are not navigated to the sign in string. This is because we haven't handled the launcher activity result. So view model handle launcher activity result and result, and pass the context as well. So let's run it. So click on sign in with Google, and yes, we are navigated to our home screen. So we haven't seen the pop-up of account selection. This is because our app is already signed in with our particular account. So if we clear the internal storage of our app, just like this, and now try to log in with Google again, then it will show us the pop-up to select a particular account with which we want to log in. And log out. So this is it for this video. So I hope this video will be helpful for you. You can find the complete code from the video description as well. So thank you, bye bye.